This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Hey, if you want to support this channel, I have a way. Stick around to the end of this video and hear an offer from the sponsor of a portion of today's video, Sheath Underwear. You could support the channel, and also, I'm wearing them right now. Seriously. So listen, don't click away. I'm getting ready to talk about an issue that is often ignored or not paid attention to enough. Whenever I do videos about climate change or healthcare, they are notoriously unwatched. This is about immigration, which is also one of those topics. The border problem we're having right now that the Republicans are making more of than is there. It's certainly a problem, absolutely, but is it to the magnitude that they say? No. But that's the least of what I want to talk about. That's the least important or problematic or dangerous portion of the problem. The larger portion is, one, Donald Trump is now telling them to scuttle a deal. Don't make a deal. Don't give Biden a win. And at the same time, Trump surrogates, Trump fans, people who are supporters of Donald Trump are fomenting, encouraging a civil war among border states with the federal government. So it is all by design. Don't make a deal. Make this a bigger problem than it is. Make this a continuing problem when we have a solution to it. And the reason why is because we want a civil war. They want it so bad. I don't know whether to start with this True Social post from Donald Trump, or we'll just start with the video clip from Newsmax yesterday with the host, Carl Higbie, I think his name is, former Navy SEAL, talking to some dipshit about this issue where they're talking about this element of civil war. And the reason I'm starting here is because I want the importance of this issue, the gravity of what is at stake here, to be upon you before you watch the rest. Watch this.
There's rumblings that Joe Biden should or may actually federalize the National Guard, take that power away from Greg Abbott. Let's say this showdown, that's what it is. It's a showdown. It's a showdown of power and loyalties and constitutionality. Let's say he does that. How many people say, no, you know what, screw you, Biden administration, and how many people stay and fight with Texas versus the federal things, and does that put us on course for a force-on-force conflict?
I mean, right now you've got the federal agents that are cutting the wire, and then you've got the Texas National Guard on orders to put up wire. I mean, this is a powder keg worth of tension. So it's very it's a very weird situation. We certainly stand with Texas on their right to defend themselves, but Biden's going to be in a tough situation. Mm-hmm. So in other words, he's going to try to federalize these troops. In other words, put them on federal orders. And so now their allegiance technically goes to the president of the United States instead of the governor. And of course, I think a lot of Texans, these are still, they're still Texans that are weekend, they're in the National Guards. They do 1 week in a month or when they get called up on duties by the governor. Mm-hmm. And I think they would be in a difficult situation to protect their homeland or to follow what Biden's saying.
Literally open it.
Very interesting. But then, then you've got Oklahoma and Florida and Tennessee, and you got all these other states that would send our National Guard to help and to support the efforts of Governor Abbott. Because every state is a border state. You talked about fentanyl. The deaths in Oklahoma since I've taken office are up 500%. And we know that's coming across the southern border. And then you think about the terrorists. Again, I just don't know what their end game is here, and I hope American people really wake up to what's happening.
Well, Governor,
I hope the American people wake up to what's happening as well, Kevin Stitt, dipshit. The vast majority of fentanyl, which is a poison, which is a killer on the streets of America, come through ports. They don't come across the southern border. Listen to the language he's using there. He's talking about their allegiance would be to the president, not the governor. Their allegiance is to the Constitution of the United States of America. Moron! When someone joins the military, as I did, you raise your right hand and you swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You don't swear an oath to the President of the United States. You don't swear an oath to the governor of a state. You would think the people who venerate this document, the Constitution, that they would know this. You would think that the people who are patriots, who want to put on the show that they know what's going on, would know that. You would think the man he's speaking to, a former Navy SEAL, would know that. A racist, white supremacist who got fired for that reason from the Trump administration. Imagine how racist you have to be if you get fired from the Trump administration. Stay and fight. Force on force, he's talking. This is literal civil war they're talking about. And the problem could be mitigated. The problem could be solved through legislation that's ready to be signed by Joe Biden if it's passed. But Donald Trump is saying, no, we don't want a deal. In fact, Donald Trump is encouraging this type of language, this type of behavior. Here's True Social, page 2, he says, we encourage all willing states to deploy their guards to Texas to prevent the entry of illegals and to remove them back across the border, capital B. All Americans should support common sense measures by Texas authorities to protect the safety, security, and sovereignty of Texas and of the American people. When I am president on day one, apparently it needs to be capitalized. Instead of fighting Texas, I will work hand in hand with Governor Abbott and other border states to stop the invasion, seal the border, and rapidly begin the largest domestic deportation operation in history. Those Biden has let in should not get comfortable because they will be going home. And then we have senators, sitting United States senators, making jokes about civil war. Ted Cruz here, the Babylon Bee, the unfunny wannabe. They want to be the Onion. They said Ted Cruz grows out mutton chops in preparation for civil war, obviously making a joke. But is it a senator's job to say fact check true? I mean, I know Ted Cruz colors himself a funny person. Funny looking doesn't count, little Teddy. And Fox News. Here is a clip of a former State Department spokesperson talking on Fox News about this issue, about the fact that Donald Trump is going to the Senate saying, don't make a deal. And Mitch McConnell, in all of his lack of loyalty to the country, is also following along. Watch this.
Of reasons, you're absolutely right. It's not Biden versus Texas, though. It's actually the Supreme Court. I mean, the Supreme Court this week weighed in and ruled against Texas in one of the issues related to the border that he was trying to do. So you can't decide when you like Supreme Court decisions and when you don't. Democrats have had to learn that the hard way at times. So I think the Supreme Court will increasingly be weighing in here. But I found very interesting reporting we're getting today that Donald Trump and his allies are pressuring Republicans in Congress not to come to some sort of compromise on the border and immigration. We actually know that they're getting pretty close. Senators from both parties are working very hard here. Yesterday, Mitch McConnell told the Republican caucus that they're in a tough position because Trump doesn't actually want Biden to be able to, quote, get a win on this by signing something, even though signing that piece of bipartisan legislation would help with the border. It wouldn't fix it, but it would help. But there are a lot of Republicans who believe that this compromise, Democrats control the Senate and Republicans control the House. We have to compromise. They are close. Donald Trump is telling his allies not to vote for it so he can run on it in November. That, to me, is dereliction of duty. Biden is ready to sign something if Congress will send it to him. And
they had 2 years.
And Republicans should get on board.
And if you don't want to take it from her, here is Mitt Romney, a sitting member of the United States Senate, confirming and saying the exact same thing.
This is why he's doing
I think the border is a very important issue for Donald Trump. And the fact that he would communicate to Republican senators and congresspeople that he doesn't want us to solve the border problem because he wants to blame Biden for it is really appalling. But the reality is that we have a crisis at the border. The American people are suffering as a result of what's happening at the border, and someone running for president ought to try and get the problem solved, as opposed to saying, "Hey, save that problem. Don't solve it. Let me take credit for solving it later."
They're playing games. They act like, and it's acting, they act like, this needs to be solved. It's critical for the safety and security of the nation. You've heard Kevin Stitt talk about terrorism. It's a big deal. They act like it's make or break for the country, but don't give Biden a win. So that's actually what's most important. It's more important to let terrorists come into the country than it is to not allow Biden to have a win. That's the real danger here, is that the problem, it could be solved, but it might look good for Joe Biden. And we want Donald Trump to have the win. I hope you're still around. You've stuck around to the end here. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And stick around. From a word from my favorite underwear company. I say it jokey, but it's not a joke. They're on me right now. Stick around. Here in the United States, we grant separate powers to 3 co-equal branches of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. Divided, each branch can better support the working of our government as a whole. Why shouldn't this practice carry over to the governing of our own bodies? Rather than allowing your branch and berries to stew in a single stuffy cesspool, well, why not divide so as to diminish your discomfort? Sheath Underwear is here to help you separate your church and your state. Sheaths are the only underwear with the dual pouch system scientifically designed to keep your executive branch separated from your judicial, if you know what I mean. Democratize your drawers. Head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore now and score 20% off right away. It was invented by a U.S. Army veteran while serving a tour in Iraq. The idea for Sheath arose from the discomfort that was experienced in these harsh environments. As a former United States Marine stationed in that part of the world, I get the inspiration. I wear Sheath every single day, and they are the only boxers that can agreeably accommodate my tree trunk thighs and keep my branches of government carefully compartmentalized. And I'm not the only fan out there. Sheath are recommended by multiple doctors and urologists and have over 20,000 5-star reviews. The airflow meshes, they're my favorite personally, but Sheath has tons of excellent styles and designs. And once you pick, Sheath will land them on your doorstep nearly instantly, thanks to blindingly fast shipping and amazing customer service. Also, your purchase doesn't just help you out. Sheath supports multiple charities like Socks for Soldiers and Doctors Without Borders. So you're making the world a better place too. Upgrade your undergarments right now. Score 20% off when you head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore and divide and conquer your discomfort with Sheath Underwear.